Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's Rich Wilson. Welcome to Fantasy Baseball Live, or Just Prospect Podcast. Today is July 4th. We're about 2:15 in the afternoon. Happy July 4th, everybody. Celebrating in America. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day. I just got back from a July 4th party. Did some grilling. Had to work a 30-minute shift of grilling. Did that. Visited with some friends and watched pool games and then got out of there. So that was my day. And I have this slice to do this podcast. Tim and I have got a lot of things planned this week. Tomorrow we're doing our Top 100 podcast where he interviews me. And I still have to do the Hot Prospect of the Week. So figured, hey, the June is done. Let me just go ahead and record it. Not exactly sure when it's going to come out. Might not be till Friday. Doesn't matter because these names aren't going to change because June is done. I've got, I think 16 hitters. No, excuse me, 12 hitters and 7 pitchers. So I got quite a list to get through. A lot of famous guys in here and then not so famous guys. And only I think one or two that I don't really know who they are. So they just had wonderful stat lines that I felt like sharing. So I'll go through details on most of these. First guy is Gunnar Henderson with the Baltimore Orioles. He's a shortstop. He's shortstop / third base, maybe second base. Not exactly sure where he's going to play. I would think he'd start off at shortstop, but long term, if he winds up in third base, I wouldn't be surprised. He's in AAA and he is only 21 years old and a very young 21 years old. Recently got promoted from AA to AAA, and it's top 10 prospect in the game now, probably top 5 prospect by the time we see graduates come by the end of the season. So what did he do this past month? 77 at-bats, 312 average, 438 on base percentage, 5 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 21 strikeouts, 17 walks, and for the season, 304 plate appearances. Pretty much same thing as he did last month, 312, 447, 13 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 19% strikeout rate, and a 19% walk rate. So he literally, I think, has one more strikeout than he does walks. So this is, if you like Wander Franco, I think this is a guy who's very similar to Wander Franco, but the tools are a little louder. Is Wander Franco going to be a better hitter? Probably. But they're in the same team pitchers. The guys going to make very good contact and walk a lot. I know Franco is not walking. I don't know what's up with that. But Henderson has developed over time, particularly this year. He's really broken out with just a much, much better approach at the plate. Before he was striking out too much, chasing pitches. I saw him only once this year, and I was really impressed. He just covered the plate so well and just did not swing at bad pitches. Is he going to post a 19% strike walk rate in the big leagues? I doubt it. But if you tell me he does a 12, 13, 14 with close to 400 on base percentage, I wouldn't be at all surprised. With 15-15 kind of stat line, maybe 20-20, maybe 20 plus home runs and more like 15 plus stolen bases. It's going to be a very, very good player and one of the best minor league players in the game today. Number 2 is a guy that we haven't seen yet this year, and that's partially because he started the season on the IL due to off-season ankle injury, and that is Nolan Jones, who has probably been if I'm being honest and everybody's being honest, I think we all thought he would be a lot better than what he has turned out to be. But this first month in AAA for the Cleveland Guardians, he's a third baseman. He's already 24. His first month back in June has been very good. 94 plate appearances, a 342 batting average, a 436 on base percentage, 3 home runs, and surprisingly 4 stolen bases, a 28% strikeout rate, and a 15% walk rate. I write in my tool summary, we're still waiting for the over-the-fence power that the swing suggests. This guy has big bat speed, but just a powerful dude, 6'4", a massive guy. And again, it's only been 1 month, so take that for what it's worth, a very small sample size. But this is the first time I have seen him post a 500 plus slug, and I think that's encouraging. Still a lot of doubles, not too many over the fence, but if he's going to do, what did he do? 3 home runs in a month. That's starting to get up to 20 home run pop. I think there's a lot more power looming in there, and I keep saying that, but I think eventually he's going to be a 25 home run guy. Now, it could be a 3 true outcome player where he'll walk a lot, and he'll strike out a lot, and probably hit a lot of home runs. So just kind of know that. It could be a 230 batting average with a 340 on-base percentage, but 25 to 30 home runs yearly. You're just going to have to bet on the come, bet on the eventually him being able to make enough contact and enough hard contact so that the power eventually develops in the over the fence power. It's in there. He just needs to develop it. So I think that's what we're looking at. Nolan Jones did not make my top 100 list, partially because I just get bored of talking about him. I mean, he's been a top 100. He's not been a top 100. I think he has a chance to be a full-time regular. I don't see a star, though. Number 3 is Eguy Rosario. He is a second base / shortstop with the San Diego Padres. He's in AAA. He is 22 years old. A really nice month. 102 at-bats, 294 batting average, a 390 on-base percentage, 8 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and for the season, a 321 plate appearances, 258 batting average. Ignore that. Look at the 350 on-base percentage, the 11 home runs, the 12 stolen bases, the 22% strikeout rate, and the 11% walk rate. I mean, that's nearly picture perfect. I mean, that's really what you want to see. He's never been thought of as a premium prospect, but he starting last year, he really started to break out. There's a chance he goes 20-20 this year, gets awfully close to it. If he's going to post a mid 300s on base percentage, I think we need to start rostering him on dynasty leagues. Is he more likely to become a utility player? Yes. Is he playing in the wrong organization that's stacked at a lot of positions and with long-term contracts like San Diego? Yes. Though I think I saw something that Tatis Jr. was amenable to switching positions. So that actually might give C.J. Abrams an opportunity to become that full-time shortstop. And remember, when C.J. Abrams went out last year, and I think it was down Double-A, it was Eguy Rosario who stepped in and did a really good job. So, is there a spot for him? Is he going to beat out C.J. Abrams? I don't think so. For playing time? No, I don't think so. He could, but I don't think so. So it feels more like a utility guy, particularly when you got Cronenworth there and you've got Kim there. I mean, there's just no room. But Rosario could also get moved too if the Padres really think they can make a push for it. And I think he would return a lot of value. So it's a very interesting player, a guy I added in drafts in a lot of leagues last year and then dropped him because I liked somebody else. I'm going to try to go back and see if he's still available and try to pick him up. Though my minor league rosters are pretty full at this point. In all of our dynasty leagues, we only have another 3 weeks or so to pick up players. So the cutoff for picking up minor league players is, in fact, the end of July. Number 4 is Baty with the New York Mets. He's a third baseman. He's in Double-A. He is 22 years old. 93 at-bats this past month, 323 batting average, a 422 on-base percentage, 6 home runs and a stolen base for the season, a 261 plate appearances, 280, 379, 9 home runs, a stolen base. He is striking out too much, and that is the problem. It's a 29% strikeout rate, but 12% walk rate, so the approach is fairly patient. There's his plus raw power. He's got solid on-base skills. I mean, the strikeouts are going to put pressure on his batting average, but you can say that about a lot of players. I think defensively, I think he can stay at third base. He might have to move to first. But I think there's a chance for 25 home runs. But again, he might only hit 240, but it should come with a 330 on-base percentage, something along that. So close to 100 points on top of that batting average. I think he's a full-time regular. Is he for the New York Metropolitans? I don't know. Again, another very veteran-laden major league squad, so he might really struggle to break in. But, I mean, there's a lot to like. I mean, I think he's a premium prospect, and he has definitely made my top 100 list. Number 5 is a guy who I don't know a whole lot about, so I'll tell you who he is, and that is Jake Slaughter. I had to include him. He's the third baseman with the Chicago Cubs, Double-A. He's 25. But in 94 plate appearances, he had 10 home runs and 9 stolen bases. For the season, a 305 batting average, a 394 on-base percentage. And you can see the 10 and 9 translated. But prior to that, he only hit 3 home runs and 8 stolen bases. So he did most of his damage in the month of June. So it's a pretty remarkable month. So I thought it was worth a mention. 20% strikeout rate and a 6% walk rate. Here's what I know. 18th round pick in 2018. He is already 25. He's playing the best baseball of his career. His .690 slug is 250 points higher than any time else in his career that he has done so far this year. He's also improved his strikeout rate to go along with a little bit of speed. But candidly, I'm just scouting the stat line here. I haven't dug in to find out if I can find any scouting information on this guy. I have not seen him. I don't get a chance. Obviously, the Myrtle Beach Pelicans is my home team when I'm in North Carolina. But that's low A now. So I don't see Double-A Cubs. I just don't see him. So I'm probably not going to chance to see him unless he goes to the Futures game, which I think is a possibility. Number 6 is Corbin Carroll. He is an outfielder. He's with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's in Double-A. He is 21 years old. 67 at-bats, a 358 batting average, a 450 on-base percentage, 4 home runs and 5 stolen bases. And most of you probably have read my top 100 now, and you know that Corbin Carroll's a top 5 guy. And if all the players in front of him matriculate by the beginning of next season, and he continues to play as well as he is, he or Jordan Walker, maybe Gunnar Henderson, will move into the number 1 spot. It is power and speed with a patient approach, and I write it could make him a superstar. 58 games in Double-A, slashing .313 for 36-43 with 16 home runs and 20 stolen bases. The only knock against him, and it's something that you should keep in the back of your mind. I'm not suggesting you sell high or anything like that. Just keep it in the back of your mind. He did drop in the 2019 based on his size. He's listed at 5'10". Most people I've talked to think he's a little bit smaller than that. Now, Mookie Betts has turned out to be one of the best players in the baseball, and he is that size. Cedric Mullen is that size. Jose Altuve is smaller than that. So, I mean, you have to take kind of sizes with a grain of salt, but just know, I mean, the odds are with you. The smaller the player, the less impactful they are going to be. Now, the sweet spot, as we've talked about, is somewhere between 6 and 6'2". Guys that are typically 6'4", unless you're Aaron Judge, have a tendency to have long, big strike zones and strike out too much. But I think all scouts wish he was a couple 3 inches taller, but he is playing just fine. There's no issues. Is there a little Andrew Benintendi fear? Benintendi's having a nice season, still not showing a lot of power. He showed the most power and speed his first season in the big leagues and has really, dropped off from there. He never really grew from that. But you can argue he's a better player now than Alex Bregman. So, which is funny because they kind of came up together. They were in that same draft. And it was always a question, who would you rather own, Benintendi or Bregman? And for years it appeared to be Bregman. But now, you can make the argument that Benintendi is right there. So, so just know that it's that's the deal with Corbin Carroll. And I like him enough to put him as the number 1 prospect in the game. So that should tell you what I think, and I'm not too worried about the size. Again, do I wish he was a few inches taller? Well, sure, but that's just not going to happen. Let's take a break, get back, and we're already at the 15-minute mark, and we'll finish up the hitters. We are at number 7, and let me flip over and look at Andrew Benintendi very quickly. Yeah, Andrew